Off our discussion tonight is Democratic Congressman Raja Krishnamurti of Illinois. He's a member of both the House Oversight Committee and the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Very enlightening to hear the bits of this that we heard today, because the other shoe has dropped, right? We were all wondering why Todd Blanche needed to be involved in this interview. We were all wondering, given that she's been tried and convicted and is in jail, what benefit accrues to the Department of Justice by sending the Deputy Attorney General to speak to her. And now we sort of get it, right? He asked her all the possible ways, and she answered all the possible ways to say Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein didn't have that much to do with each other.
That's exactly right. And it was basically an attempt to distract from what I think everybody really wants to see, which is all the Epstein files. That's what we need to look at to really understand the nature of, Donald Trump's potential involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and others. And I think that, the fact that they keep going to this interview transcript, and then they talk about unsealing grand jury materials, is, again, an attempt to distract from what everybody wants, which is full disclosure of the Epstein files. And that's a view shared widely by Democrats and Republicans.
Tell me what, just to make the distinction between those things, because a judge has said you can't get the grand jury stuff. This, as you know, we're not sure what this was about. We're gleaning what this conversation between Todd Blanche and Ghislaine Maxwell was about. But what is it that you in Congress can achieve and get that can help us get to the bottom of the story?
Well, today we received a first tranche of documents, some 33,000 pages of documents, and I think people are feverishly going through these documents as we speak right now, and we'll be going through it through the weekend to understand really what's in this first production. But there's more, and we need to get the rest of those documents as well. And we need to understand, quite frankly, what's missing from this first 33,000 in order to be able to expose what needs to be produced. The interesting thing is that the MAGA base is watching very carefully. And so they are an important audience, in part, for what Democrats and others are going to be talking about with regard to these files.
What's your sense of how much stock anyone should put in what Ghislaine Maxwell says?
Zero. I think she's a liar. She's a convicted perjurer. The fact that she, denied any wrongdoing during this interview that she had with Blanche is all you need to know about whether she can be believed or not. I don't believe anything that she said, quite frankly. I think she's in it to try to get a pardon. She'll say whatever it takes to get clemency. I've introduced a resolution opposing that, and I hope that Democrats and Republicans will join me in making sure that she doesn't get clemency as a hardened sex trafficking criminal. But at the end of the day, we need those files. We need the documents to be able to evaluate anything she says going forward, or for that matter, what anyone else says as well.
But do you glean the same thing that I glean when I listen to that I don't know what took place in the moments before they started recording, but basically Todd Blanche kept asking her questions that didn't seem broadly about Jeffrey Epstein or his conviction or his alleged suicide. It all seemed to be about, can you keep on saying things that will help us exonerate Donald Trump? And she kept on adding to that with things about how great Donald Trump was and how Donald Trump couldn't possibly have been involved.
That's exactly how I read it and how I heard it. I think that, Donald Trump is dangling the possible pardon or clemency that she wishes to get. But I think that she is, going to continue to try to fabricate testimony to try to extricate him from this situation. Again, we go back to the files. That is really where, I think the truth lies. And there's possibly more than 100,000 pages at least. In fact, Senator Dick Durbin pointed out that something like 1,000 FBI agents were tasked with going through those 100,000 pages of documents and flagging every single instance Donald Trump's name was mentioned. And those documents were somehow set aside. So that's a set of documents that, for instance, we would like to see, among others.
Are you confident that you'll be able to glean what's missing?
No, I think we have to kind of go through it. We'll probably have to, talk to other witnesses to try to understand what else would be in there. But I think that over time, we should be able to sleuth out anything that's potentially being withheld. But again, I go back to this interesting situation where we have kind of bipartisan demands for accountability. This might be the first time that I'm seeing this in this Congress or in any Congress where Donald Trump was president, given the fact that my Republican colleagues seem to be silent when he acts with impunity otherwise. But here, there seems to be, I guess, a heightened level of scrutiny.
Well, I mean, so bipartisan that Mike Johnson decided to sort of cancel Congress in the hopes that after 5 weeks, this will go away and he might extend your recess. But the bottom line is, I'm not sure it's going away.
No, I don't think so. Remember, when we come back, the resolution that a couple of my colleagues have introduced calling for the full production of those documents is likely to be taken up as a vote on the floor. In addition, even Ghislaine Maxwell's deposition has been noticed up for September 29th. I believe that we need to depose other witnesses who are even more central to the Epstein affair, such as Alex Acosta, the U.S. attorney and former labor secretary who actually negotiated the sweetheart plea agreement with Jeffrey Epstein and knows his case inside and out. We need to be able to talk to him. But again, we need those files and documents, in order to evaluate everybody's claims about what happened.
Congressman, I want you to stick around because I have other matters to discuss with you. I always appreciate you being on our show with us.